We tell ourselves that the leaders of our countries are immortal. The weight of the office and the attention they receive makes them feel like they could potentially live forever. But that is not the case. There are plenty of crazy and suspicious ways that U.S. presidents have kicked the bucket. Some deaths remain a mystery and others were downright bizarre. We will start from the latest and work our way back to the beginning to see how each president met their demise. Hey, everyone, it's me, your host, and today we're going to take a look at part 3 of Bizarre Deaths. How U.S. presidents met their end. Stay till the end. You won't believe number 6. Number 11, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln led the country through its Civil War and he helped end slavery. But he did not get to enjoy his victory for long. On April 14, 1865, Lincoln attended a play called Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. He had been through, though much stress lately, and he was looking forward to a relaxing night out. Unfortunately, that was not to be, as an assassin named Lincoln Booth snuck into the theater and shot Lincoln in the back of the head. Booth was a Confederate sympathizer who felt that Lincoln's policies towards the South were too harsh. He waited until the perfect opportunity and then fired a single shot. Lincoln was rushed to a house across the street from the theater, where he died early the next morning. Just 2 days earlier, Lincoln had a strange dream that he was walking with his son in a graveyard when he saw an angel pointing to a grave. When Lincoln asked his son what the grave meant, the boy replied, "Father, I think it means you." Sadly, he didn't realize at the time that his dad would soon be dead. Number 10, James A. Garfield, the second president to be assassinated. Garfield had barely been in office for 6 months when he was shot by an assassin. In July 1881, he was standing in a crowded train station when a man named Charles Gitto approached him and fired 2 shots. One of the bullets hit Garfield in the arm, while the other grazed his shoulder. It seems like a clean wound, but that couldn't have been further from the truth. Doctors were eager to help the president, but their attempts to suck the bullet out of his arm actually ended up pushing it deeper inside. They kept probing and poking at the wound, and they even used their unwashed hands to do so. This caused a terrible infection, which eventually spread to his blood and bones. After 80 long days of pain and suffering, President Garfield died on September 19, 1881. To make things even stranger, famous inventor Alexander Graham Bell tried his best to locate the bullet using a metal detector that he had recently invented. But the doctors wouldn't let him try this method because they thought it would hurt the president. Number 9, William Henry Harrison. When Harrison gave his inauguration speech in 1841, he stood outside in cold weather for more than 2 hours. To make things worse, he didn't wear a coat. 9 days later, he came down with a fever and other symptoms of pneumonia. At first, his doctors tried treating him with calomel, but that only made him worse. He experienced a grand mal seizure and then slipped into a coma. He died on April 4, 1841, making his presidency the shortest of all time. He held the office for just 31 days. It's hard to imagine how someone can die so quickly in such a cushy job. It seems like Harrison was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. If he had stayed warm that day, he might still be alive. Number 8, Zachary Taylor. In 1850, Taylor became the 12th President of the United States. He served in the Army for many years before entering politics, and he earned the nickname Old Rough and Ready. In July of 1850, he attended a 4th of July celebration in Washington, D.C. He ate several cherries and then drank some iced milk. Hours later, he began to feel sick to his stomach, and he soon began vomiting and experiencing other symptoms of food poisoning. He seemed to be getting better, but then he became delirious and had a seizure. His attending physician believed that he had cholera, so he gave him a laxative, which only made things worse. He died 3 days later, on July 9, 1850. There are conspiracy theories that Taylor was poisoned by political enemies, but there is no evidence to support this claim. No. 7. Warren G. Harding. On August 2, 1923, Harding was on a trip to Ohio when he suddenly collapsed in his hotel room. He was only 55 years old and in good health, so this was a shock to everyone. No one knew what had happened until his autopsy, which revealed that he had suffered a heart attack. But there is still speculation that his wife, Florence, may have poisoned him because she was having an affair and didn't want to be alone with her husband anymore. There are also rumors that she killed two of her husband's friends using the same method. As you can see, the president wasn't the only person whose life was cut short. Number 6. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the longest-serving U.S. president, died in his home in Warm Springs, Georgia. On April 12, 1945, he was having a portrait painted when he complained of a severe headache. Artist Elizabeth Shumatoff continued painting him as he reclined on a couch. She noticed that he had turned pale, and he stopped responding to her questions. Just 6 hours later, he was dead. His last words were, "I have a terrific headache." He had suffered a cerebral hemorrhage, which is a fancy way of saying that there was bleeding in his brain. Interestingly, Roosevelt had recently taken a blood pressure medication, which was supposed to prolong his life. Instead, it accelerated his death. Number 5. John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, President Kennedy was riding in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas, when he was shot and killed. The entire incident was broadcast live on television and witnessed by millions of people around the world. Two shots were fired and the second one struck Kennedy in the throat, causing him to slump over in his seat. He was rushed to the hospital, but there was nothing they could do. He was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. that day. The assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was arrested 2 hours later. But his trial never took place because he was shot and killed by Jack Ruby 2 days later. There are many conspiracies surrounding JFK's death, including the magic bullet theory and the grassy knoll theory. But the Warren Commission concluded that the most likely explanation is that Oswald acted alone. Number 4. William McKinley. McKinley was another president who was shot in a crowded area. In September 1901, he attended the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. As he walked through the grounds, he shook hands with hundreds of people. Then he reached out to shake the hand of an assassin named Leon Czolgosz. Czolgosz had a small pistol hidden in his sleeve and he used it to shoot the president twice. McKinley was able to speak and walk after being wounded, but he developed gangrene and died 6 days later. His presidency lasted from 1897 to 1901. He was shot on September 6th and died on September 14th. Number 3. Jefferson and Adams. Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and John Adams, the second president, both died on the same day, July 4, 1826. But there's a strange twist to this story. Adams died in the morning and Jefferson died in the afternoon, so technically, Adams died first. They were both born on July 4th, but 50 years apart. And they both died on July 4th, exactly 50 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. How poetic is that? John Quincy Adams, the son of President John Adams, visited Jefferson's body and said, "He is gone to join his friend, Mr. Adams, who has gone to join him," but that was not true. When Adams died, Jefferson had already been dead for 9 hours. Now it's time for the final moments. Which president's death shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Before you go, please like and share if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.